The alien ship moved faster than almost anything that could exist. Not faster than light, never faster than light. But close enough that the universe itself seemed to stretch and blur around it. From the observation deck, Captain Vey watched a small blue world slowly slide behind them. Earth. A planet marked with a red symbol in the Galactic archive. Unviable terminal. Near extinction. They won't survive. Vey said quietly. His species did not speak often during observation duty. Talking did not change data. Talking did not change outcomes. But sometimes silence felt heavier than words. Beside him stood Nayeli, a xenobiologist on her first long survey mission. Her thin sensory tendrils twitched as she stared at the holographic image of Earth rotating gently in the air. "I've checked the projections again," she said. "The ice age is worsening. Food is disappearing. The predators are too large. The humans are too few." She zoomed the image closer. Small groups of humans moved across frozen plains. Fires burned weakly in the dark. Thin figures wrapped in animal skins held stone spears with shaking hands. Gigantic beasts moved in the distance. Massive shapes with tusks and claws. One strike from those creatures could end an entire human family. "They're fighting megafauna with sticks," Nayeli whispered. "Captain, that's not survival, that's desperation." Vey's chest tightened. The ship's computers were never wrong. They calculated probability without emotion. Without hope. Human extinction probability. 97.3% within one local year. 6 human months, maybe less. Their ship could not slow down. It had taken decades to reach its current speed. Slowing now would mean missing thousands of scheduled observations. The rules were clear. Observers do not interfere. The galaxy learned that rule the hard way. "We can't help them," Vey said. "Even if we wanted to." Nayeli turned away from the screen. Her tendrils curled inward, a sign of grief among their kind. "This is my first sapient species," she said softly. "And I'm watching them die." Vey said nothing. They watched in silence as a group of humans surrounded a fallen beast. Their movements were careful, fearful. One wrong step, and they would be crushed. The humans won. Barely. That small victory meant nothing in the long run. It only delayed the inevitable. Neely's voice trembled. "Why does intelligence keep appearing on death worlds? Why give them thought and fear and hope? Just to take it away." Vera had no answer. He only knew that he would remember this planet. Long after the mission ended, the ship continued forward. Earth shrank. Blue became white. White became a dot. Captain Nayeli said suddenly, "When we come back? Can you wake me?" Vey turned to her. "That would be 12,000 years from now." "I know," she said. "I want to know what happened." "Even if it's only to confirm they're gone?" Protocol said no. Emotional attachment, compromised observation, integrity. But Vey looked at the screen one last time. Tiny humans. Cold fire. Stone tools. Impossible odds. "I promise," he said. Nayeli let out a shaky breath. Relief flickered across her features. Before entering cryosleep, she paused at the communications console. "They can't hear us," she said. "But I need to say it anyway." She activated a low-power broadcast. It would scatter into space, unheard and unanswered. "Humans of Earth," she said quietly, "we see you. We know you're trying. We're sorry we can't help." The message drifted away, meaningless to the universe. The cryopods sealed. Darkness followed, and Earth was officially logged as lost. Captain Vey woke up with a sharp intake of breath. cryosleep always ended the same way. One moment, nothing. The next moment, awareness crashing back like a wave. His muscles felt heavy, his thoughts slightly delayed, but training took over instantly. Red notification pulsed in his neural display. Priority system flag. SOL3, APPRO, CHF memory, flooded back. Fire. Ice. Humans with spears. Neely's voice shaking as she asked him to wake her again. Vaya moved fast. He exited his pod and crossed the chamber, ignoring protocol timers, and manually initiated Neely's revival sequence. Her pod hissed open seconds later. She was all ready. "Awake, Captain," she said, pushing herself upright, eyes wide. "We're back, aren't we?" "Yes," Vaya said quietly. "We kept the promise." Neely didn't answer. She was already at the observation station, hands moving quickly across the controls. The ship automatically shifted sensors toward the blue planet growing larger. Ahead, neither of them spoke. They were afraid to hope. The first scans came in. Noelle froze. Then she whispered, "That's not possible." Vare leaned closer. The displays filled with light. Cities, not camps. Not villages. Cities. Light spread across the night side of the planet like constellations carved into the surface. Straight lines cut across continents. Tast. Shapes floated in oceans. Smoke and heat signatures rose into the atmosphere in controlled patterns. Neely's tendrils trembled violently. They didn't just survive. She breathed. They multiplied. Vare pulled up population estimates. The number made him blink. "Then check again, then again. Billions," he said. The ship confirmed human population. Approximately 8.2 billion. Naeli sat down hard. "Captain, this species was supposed to die." They began pulling data faster. Agricultural networks spanned entire continents. Artificial waterways redirected rivers. Forests had been cleared and replanted. Mountains were mined. Oceans were crossed by metal vessels far larger than anything expected at this stage. They reshaped their world, Vaya said. The world didn't tame them. They tamed it. Ali zoomed in on a coastal city. "That's steel," she said. "Refined steel? And look, energy grids. Electrical infrastructure." Her voice shook, not with fear, with awe. "They skipped stages," she continued. "They didn't just adapt, they accelerated." Vare scanned climate data. The planet had warmed, ice had retreated, megafauna were gone, not peacefully, hunted, driven extinct. The humans had not waited for mercy. They had taken control. Nayeli hesitated, then said, "Captain, listen." She adjusted the sensors again. This time, the ship detected radio noise. Intentional patterns, structured signals. Information. "They're broadcasting," Nayeli whispered. "They're talking across their world." Vaya felt something unfamiliar tightened inside him. A species that had once screamed into the dark was now shouting back. Protocol alarms chimed softly. Pre-contact warning. Sapient broadcasts detected. Neely turned to him. "If we come back again," she said, "they'll hear us." "Yes," Vaya agreed. "And they might answer." They watched the planet rotate. Humans filled the screens. No, not as struggling prey, but as builders, thinkers, fighters, creators. They survived, because they never waited, Noelle said slowly. They never waited for the world to become kind. Vaya nodded. "They were born on a death world," he said. "And instead of escaping it, they mastered it." The ship began moving out of optimal range. "Nah, Eli didn't want to leave. I want to talk to them," she said. Even if they can't hear us yet. Vaya hesitated, then nodded. She opened a broadcast channel wideband, unfocused, primitive by galactic standards. Humans of Earth, Nayeli said, her voice steady but full of emotion. You don't know us? You can't hear us yet? But we saw you once. When you were dying, Vaya watched Earth drift away again. You proved us wrong, Nayeli continued. You proved the universe wrong. The transmission faded into static. The ship turned toward the next system. Behind them, Earth burned brighter than ever. And somewhere on that planet, humans were already building machines that would one day listen to the stars. The alien survey ship moved away from Earth at impossible speed. For the crew, only hours would pass. For humanity, 10,000 more years would go by. Captain Vaya should have gone back in to CRYOSLEEP. So should Nayeli, but neither of them moved. They stood at the observation station, watching Earth shrink until it became a blue star again. Nayeli broke the silence first. They are moving too fast. They are moving too fast, she said softly. Vaya turned to her. Too fast for what? For peace, she replied. She brought up new data streams. Human energy use was rising sharply. Resource extraction was accelerating. Borders were forming. Weapons production had begun. Metal weapons, then gunpowder, then machines built only to kill. They survived the planet, Nayeli said. Now they're fighting each other. Vaya had seen this pattern before. Many species reached this stage. Most destroyed themselves. They are competitive, he said. But competition can create strength. Noelle shook her head. Or extinction. Before either could speak again, the ship's AI interrupted. Unexpected anomaly, DTECTED. Both of them froze. That's impossible, Vaya said. We're leaving the system. The AI repeated the alert. Source, SOL3. Type, directional radio emission vector. Deep Space Annealy stared at the display. Captain, she whispered. They're not just broadcasting across their planet. It is. Eyes widened. They're broadcasting outward. The humans had done it. Much earlier than expected. They were shouting into space. The signal was weak, chaotic, full of noise. But it was intentional, a message. Nayeli pulled it apart, piece by piece. There's no language structure yet, she said. But it's a pattern. Mathematics. Prime numbers. They're saying, she paused. They're saying, is anyone there? Vaya felt something close to fear. Galactic law was clear. No contact before cultural stabilization. Fearance. No answers. Because early contact often destroyed. Young species. The humans were not ready. But they were close. Nayeli looked at him. They're going to keep calling, she said. And eventually, someone else will hear them. That someone might not be kind. The galaxy was not empty. It was filled with predators, empires. Slavers. Harvesters. Species that saw young worlds as resources. If it's not us, Nayeli continued, it will be something far worse. Vez. Hands clenched. Breaking protocol would end his career. Following it might doom an entire species. They learned to fast, Nayeli said again. Because their world forced them to. She pulled up historical data. Human wars were escalating. Casualties rising. Technology growing more destructive with every conflict. They turned pressure into progress, she said. But pressure, like This can also snap them. The human signal repeated. Still weak, still desperate, still unanswered. Vaya made a decision that would echo across millennia. Prepare a reply, he said. Nayeli stared at him. Captain, I know the law. He interrupted. I also know what happens when a species screams into the dark and no one warns them. The AI hesitated. Action violates first contact directive override. Vaya ordered. Neely's tendrils trembled. We can't speak to them directly, she said. It would alter their development. Then we don't speak, Vaya replied. We whisper. She understood instantly. Not answers, not technology. 8. Warning. They encoded the message carefully. No alien language. No advanced science. Only concepts humans were already close to discovering. Patterns, signals, buried inside background. Radiation. Hidden truths that would take centuries to decode. A message that would grow with them. Nayeli recorded it. Her voice did not carry words. Only math. Physics, constants. A subtle map of danger. Zones in their own future, and one final thing. Hope. The message launched. It vanished into the void. Chasing humanity's call. Veyr exhaled slowly. If they find it, Nayeli said, it will change them. Yes, Vaya replied. But not break them. The ship turned away. Cryosleep chambers prepared. As they lay down once more, Nayeli spoke. Quietly, Captain, do you think they'll survive? What comes next? Vaya closed his eyes. I think, he said, the universe just made its first mistake. The humans were no longer alone. And one day soon, they would answer back. Humanity did not notice the warning. Not at first. Centuries passed. Their radios improved, their machines grew faster, their cities spread like living things across the planet. Wars came and went. Each war made them smarter. Each disaster made them stronger, and deep beneath all their noise, the whisper waited. It hid inside background radiation. Inside equations scientists could not yet solve. Inside strange anomalies that made no sense. For thousands of years. It slept. Then one human finally touched it. Dr. Elias Mercer did not believe in accidents. He stood alone in an underground research lab, staring at numbers that should not exist. Background radiation was never clean. Everyone knew that. But this pattern. This was organized. Repeating. Intentional. This isn't noise. He whispered. He ran the data again. Same result. He pulled years of archived cosmic scans. Layered them together, filtered everything human made. Out. What remained made his hands shake. Prime numbers ratios that described fundamental forces and something else. A structure, like a message built to wait. Someone put this here? Elias said aloud. The room felt suddenly small. The message wasn't new. It was ancient, older than human radio, older than civilization. And it was aimed at Earth. Elias did not sleep that night, or the next. He brought in a trusted team. Only 5 people. All scientists. All skeptics. They tore the data apart. They tried to disprove it. They failed. It's a warning, said Dr. Mina Cho quietly. A warning of what? Someone asked. Mina zoomed in. The pattern aligned with projected human technology curves, energy density, weapon yield, artificial intelligence thresholds, points where civilizations often collapsed. They're telling us where we die, she said. Silence filled the room. Or where we almost do. Ilias said. The final layer of the message was the strangest, not math. Not physics. Probability modeling. Showing futures where humanity survived. And futures where it didn't yet, and the difference was small. One decision, one moment, one choice. They didn't give us answers, Mina said. They gave us awareness. Across the galaxy, Captain Vaya slept out 10,000 years passed like a breath. When he woke again, the AI spoke immediately. Alert unauthorized signal response detected source. Sol 3 Vaya's heart tightened. They found it, he said. Nailai stood beside him, already reading the data. They didn't just find it, she said. They understood it. Human broadcasts had changed. They were no longer random, no longer blind. They were cautious, measured, as if humanity suddenly knew the dark was listening back. They slowed their weapons programs, Nailai observed. They created treaties. Vaya added. Temporary ones, she warned. But enough. He said. Then, the tone shifted. Another signal appeared, not from Earth, from somewhere. Old, sharp, predatory. Nailai's, single quotes tendrils, stiffened. That's not human. The AI identified it. Origin, unknown classification. Non-aligned status. Active observer Vaya felt dread. Someone else heard them. The signal wasn't a greeting, it was a scan, measuring mass. Energy output. Biology tunting. They're cataloging. Earth, Naeli said. Like prey. The signal originated from a civilization older than humanity by millions of years. An empire. One that believed young species existed for one reason only. Consumption. They won't wait. Naeli said. They never do. Humanity stood at a crossroads. Aware but not ready. Strong but not united. Calling into space without knowing who answered. Vaya made another forbidden choice. Wake the council, he said. Naeli hesitated. If we intervene again, we don't intervene, Vaya said. We prepare. Across Earth, Dr. Elias Mercer stared at a new reading. A signal. Inbound, not the whisper. Something louder, colder, older. Double quotes, this isn't them? He whispered. Human instruments screamed warnings. Unknown probes entered the outer system, silent, watching humanity. Had survived the planet? They had survived themselves? Now, they were about to face the galaxy. The probes did not attack. That was the worst part. They entered the solar system without warning, without sound, without heat signatures. Human sensors barely detected them. They looked like drifting debris, but debris does not adjust its orbit. Debris. Das Noswash, Dr. Elias Mercer stood inside the Global Observation Center. Surrounded by silent screens. Every nation was watching now. No borders. No flags. No arguments, just fear. They're mapping everything, Elias said quietly. One probe slid past Jupiter. Another slowed near Saturn. A third stopped near Earth's moon. Perfect positions. Perfect angles. They're measuring response time, said Minacho, seeing how fast we react. Military leaders wanted to fire. Scientists begged them not to. And above it all, the whisper returned. Stronger. Clearer. Not a message this time. A question. Do you understand now? Elias closed his eyes. Yes, he whispered. We understand. Across the galaxy. Captain Vaya watched the same moment. He felt something rare. Fear that ours had noticed. Earth, an ancient species that fed not just on worlds, but on civilizations. They waited until prey could fight. Then they harvested everything. Technology, biology, history, nothing was left. They'll test them, Nayeli said softly. How? Vare asked. Nayeli pointed. One probe changed behavior. It transmitted a narrow signal, focused, targeted. Human satellites near it began to fail, not explode, not burn. They simply shut down. EMP. Without force. Precision. They're checking resistance. Thresholds, Nayeli said. Seeing how fragile humans really are? On Earth, panic spread. Markets crashed. Religions erupted. Governments argued. But something else happened. 2. People remembered. They remembered stories of survival. Of ancestors who endured ice, famine, extinction. Humanity had never been when united by comfort, only when united by threat. Elias stood before the World Council. We cannot win a war, he said. But we don't need to. Everyone stared at him. The whisper wasn't a weapon, he continued. It was a filter. He brought up simulations. Civilizations that fought the Devourers lost. Civilizations that hid lost. Civilizations that begged lost. Only one path showed survival. Becoming unpredictable. They hunt patterns, Elias said. So we break ours. Across the planet, emergency protocols activated. Satellites repositioned randomly. Communication shifted to analog backups. Energy grids decentralized. Humanity began to act. Irrational. On purpose, the probes reacted. Their movements slowed, confused. Nah, Eli single quotes. Eyes widened. They're hesitating. They don't understand humans, Vaya said. No, she agreed. They never do. But hesitation was not retreat. A new signal appeared. Massive. Cold. The Devourer fleet was turning toward Earth. Hundreds of ships, each one capable of ending the planet. They're done observing. Nayeli whispered. They're coming to feed. Vaya made the final call. We reveal ourselves. Nayeli froze. That breaks every law. So does extinction, Vaya replied. Human telescopes detected it first. A ship unlike any other. Not hiding, not watching. Arriving openly between Earth. And the incoming fleet? Human sensors went wild, a calm signal broadcast. Across all frequencies. Translated perfectly. This world is under protection. Every human heard it. Every government confirmed it. The Devourers responded instantly. Weapons charged. The unknown ship did not move. It did not fire. It simply existed. The Devourers hesitated again. They remembered this species. Ancient observers rarely interfering. Dangerous when they did, Vaya's voice carried once more. Humanity is a survivor species. They are not your prey. The Devourers paused, calculated. Then replied, all things that grow are food. The fleet advanced. Vier turned to Nayeli. Then they'll learn something new. Behind Earth, something unexpected happened. Human engines ignited. Not warships. Not weapons. Thousands of small vessels launched civilian research cargo. Unarmed. Flying directly toward the Devar's suicide. Madness. Or something else. Nayeli stared. In disbelief. They're offering themselves. No, Vaya said softly. They're showing defiance. The Devourers slowed. Confused. Again, these creatures were not acting like prey. They were not acting like warriors. They were acting like something worse. A species that refused to fit the rules. And the galaxy watched. The Devourers had faced 1,000,000 worlds. None had ever done this. Unarmed, Human ships kept moving forward. Slow, open, fearless, no weapons, no shields raised. No threat, just presence. The Devourer fleet stalled. Their logic systems strained. Prey did not advance. Prey ran. Prey hid. Captain Vaya watched the moment freeze in space. "This is it," Nayeli whispered. "They're deciding." The Devourers spoke again, their signal cold and vast. "Withdraw your flesh. This ends in consumption." The reply did not come from the alien Guardian ship, it came from Earth, from millions of human voices merged into one broadcast. "We have always lived with extinction behind us." Dr. Elias Mercer stood before the global array. His hands shook. His voice did not. "We survived ice that killed giants," he said. "We survived plagues that erased cities. We survived each other." Images flooded the transmission. Ancient hunters facing mammoths. Frozen tribes sharing fire. Cities rebuilt after ruin. "We do not grow because the universe is kind," Elias continued. "We grow because it is not." The Devourers analyzed. This was not defiance. This was history weaponized. The Guardian ship moved at last, not toward the Devourers, toward Earth. Vaya transmitted a final authorization. "All observer systems," he said. "Record everything." The Guardian ship opened itself. Layers unfolded. Human senses screamed. Inside was not a weapon, it was a memory engine. The accumulated records of thousands of watched species. Most extinct, some consumed, few survived, and among them, Noah Manitanali. "Understood. They're being archived," she whispered. "No," Vera said. "They're being acknowledged." The Devourers reacted instantly. Weapons charged across the fleet. A strike was coming. Human ships did not retreat. Instead, every one of them transmitted a single message. Personal, unfiltered, parents, children. Artists, engineers. Simple words. "We are here. We choose this. We will not disappear quietly." The Devourers hesitated for the third time. That had never happened before. Their hive intelligence fractured, calculation split. Some ships advanced, others slowed. Conflicting logic. The Guardian ship acted, not with violence. With exposure, it projected the Devourers past. Their first harvest. Their evolution. Their endless cycle of consumption. Across the galaxy, every observing civilization saw it. The Devourers screamed not in pain, but in disruption. They had always hunted unseen. Now they were known, vulnerable, finite. The hunter had been dragged into. The light Vaya's voice echoed once more. "They are not food. They are a warning." The Devourer fleet withdrew. Not destroyed. Not defeated, repelled. For the first time in their existence. They chose retreat over risk. Silence returned. Human ships stopped. Some turned back. Some drifted, engines dead, crews in tears. They were alive. Earth was alive. Days later, the Guardian ship remained in orbit. Vaya and Nayeli watched humanity celebrate, mourn, argue, and rebuild all at once. "They don't even realize what they did," Nayeli said. "They do," Vaya replied. "They just don't need to brag." A final transmission was sent to Earth, private. Simple. "You were judged, you endured. When you reach the stars, you will not be alone." Dr. Elias Mercer read it alone. He smiled. Humanity returned to its chaos, its noise, its flaws. But something had changed. The galaxy now knew, 1. Truth.Earth was not a cradle, it was a forge, and humans were not prey. They were survivors who made even the universe hesitate. Far away, the devourers remembered a small blue world, and for the first time, they were afraid.